Detective Comics 1004, Peter J. Tomasi writing with Brad Walker on the art. And I hope Connor had booze at the ready when he was reading this issue.
Was terrible. I read this first after work, and oh man,
Connor, we've spoken about you assuming what I'm going to say. I hope Connor had booze at the ready when he was reading this, not because it was bad, although I do think it was bad. I'm not saying otherwise.
I just wanted to butt in. It wasn't a prediction of what you were saying. It was just.
But at one point in this book, because this book is a flashback issue where Dr. Arkham's explaining the backstory of how he met his wife and how he had his daughter Astrid. And at one point he says, and I shit you not, and I laughed out loud, and I'll explain this for people who don't watch the TV news in a second, but he says, I thought everything in my life was settled both professionally and personally.
It cracked me up, I'm not gonna lie.
To explain that joke, basically every week in the TV news, me and Cara do, almost cancelled TV news, we'll be reading descriptions from TV shows that are in the works, or the pilots have been ordered or whatever, and they love to use the phrase personal and professional lives. They love to do that. Yeah. And it's become a thing where Cara takes a drink every time they do it, so it just made me laugh.
It has. The exact quote in this was, I couldn't envision how our personal and professional lives could be any more complete.
There you go.
I was like, oh god.
Yeah. So yeah, this is easily the worst issue since issue 1000.
This is the worst issue since Tomasi's taken over.
Yes, I was almost gonna go back and now I'm not.
Well, that's it. Like every issue, I'm like, oh, this is all right. This is better, and then it gets to this, and I'm like,
So I have some timeline questions first of all, because we're still in New 52 continuity here, and Batman was supposed to have only been Batman for 5 years when New 52 started. So Arkham's daughter is like 20-ish, right? That's what Damien estimated her as.
Yeah, which we thought was too old, right? When we saw her. Or too young.
Too young, yeah. We thought she was older than that. But that's fine, whatever. You're telling us she's about that age, whatever, I'll accept it. So we get the story here of how he met his wife and how they gave birth to her, right? So Arkham's already full of like villains like the Joker and Croc and Harley. So Clayface. So Batman's only been active for 5 years at the start of New 52, but 20 years ago, Arkham was already full of all of his villains.
What? Why are we saying it's New 52 continuity still? Is that what they say at the beginning, or is that just you?
It says at the beginning. I think Pete's just assuming it hasn't changed.
Yeah, but it's not changed. Okay. We're still in New 52 continuity across the board.
See, I don't think we are. I feel like Rebirth upset all that. So, because you have Superman.
I mean, Superman's definitely wonkied it up a bit with Reborn. Don't get me wrong, that happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like. So if they adjusted Superman's age, they've had to have adjusted the Batman stuff. I'm just saying. So he could have been longer.
I feel like we're in this really weird place continuity-wise. We are still in New 52 continuity, but so many books right now are starting to kind of like just blur it. Where like, you know, Young Justice characters are remembering everything.
Do you know what this is? Yeah. This is a problem of Doomsday Clock being pushed back so much, and all that missing time was supposed to have been sorted by now.
Yeah. Possibly. That may possibly be why. But anyway, so we have this pickle. So I wasn't really enjoying the flashback in general, but here's what I really hated about this issue is Astrid Arkham is born in Arkham Asylum, and it's the villains who deliver her.
You've got Joker delivering her. Clayface is putting up a big, a big mud shield as a curtain to give us some privacy.
Yeah, like we literally have Joker holding up baby Astrid, and then they wrap her in like that. Some of their one of them takes their prison like overall off and wraps it around her like a little blanket. So she's got the black and white stripes around her.
Yeah,
this issue's freaking terrible.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
It's laughably bad.
I think I'll go get caught up on Green Lantern then when I have some time over this.
Look, Green Lantern may not be everyone's taste, but it is objectively just better than this.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if it's about the same number of issues I need to get caught up on, right? Like,
yeah, it's only on like 7. You read like
I made it through 2, so I'd have 4 issues. This I have 4 issues. I think it's gonna be more time well spent. Because this.
I mean, it could be good again next issue. This could just because it's the flashback issue. Like, it could be, right? But because I chuckled once at the end when it comes back to present day again, and like Arkham's telling them this story. There's a little joke where Batman's like, so she thinks I'm the demon in the city, and she's trying to like take over.
That explains why Astrid sees me as a curse hanging over Gotham.
And then Damian goes like, who hasn't?
Yeah,
Batman just glares at him.
That moment it was quite funny.
Yeah, but basically we find out that when little Astrid was about, I don't know, 8 or whatever, her mother gets killed.
No, I thought the mother was killed giving birth.
I was supposed to say, yeah, it's when she's giving birth, but she doesn't see it until she's older. She's like 8 when she sees the footage.
Yeah. By the way, we should point out Astrid is kind of raised in the asylum. She calls Joker Uncle Joker, and she's there reading like a storybook with him, and it's like, oh, I know, the Arkham is like my castle, and
this is all
Joker's
awful.
like, oh, you want to be the princess, and she's like, no, I'm going to be the knight. I want to protect the castle and kingdom. And Joker says, that's because you're the bravest of all, Astrid.
Like,
that is genuine dialogue from the Joker.
Unless they flip this later and this is all in her mind and she's delusional, because I can't, like, I will buy that Joker takes in a kid, but that kid would be way more demented than what Astrid is. Like,
yeah, it is worth noting this is portrayed as through her what do they call it? Her visual diary of her life. So she's done drawings of her own life.
Yeah, so it's not actually accurate as to what the villains were actually doing and saying.
No, so you have an unreliable narrator, and that's fine. But
what is conflicting about that is the first half. We've presented as, this is all this visual diary, yet the first half of the story is before she's born and is clearly from Arkham's perspective. So I don't know.
I just looking in the rules of the story, this guy should not be in charge of Arkham Asylum. I don't care if his name's on the building. Who lets their child hang out with the inmates?
I know.
There's a reason why they're in Arkham Asylum and not Blackgate.
Yeah, they're in a cell. It's fine, man. They're not gonna hurt her.
I think it's implied that she kind of sneaks into the main part of the building. She's not supposed to go in there as a kid. She just kind of does it anyway as a rebel.
Yeah, she found secret ways to move throughout the asylum on a whim.
I wish Killer Croc would have taken a chunk of her arm out.
So anyway, so she's in the footage later that a batarang kills her mother in the neck. We find out later though that it wasn't Batman who threw it. It was like basically one of the batarangs he'd already thrown. One of the villains picks up and throws, and that's what kills her. But she blames Batman.
And Jeremiah was like, yeah, just keep hating Batman. That's easier.
Yeah, they don't want
Even though the whole reason that he has a business is because of Batman.
Yeah,
keep hating him.
His reasoning is actually really weird as well, because he's like, I didn't want her to know that it was really my fault that her mother died because I was negligent and couldn't protect her. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not that direct. It's not like you were in the room and didn't do something, like, I don't know. It felt like a really roundabout way of logic to have him lie to her.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
I started laughing out loud. See when it got to the page where she's literally giving birth, and like we have the villains around her, like the doctors and
you got Joker holding up the baby.
Yeah, this page made me laugh because it's just god awful. And sure, unreliable narrator. It may not be necessarily how it actually played out, but I hated reading this issue. It was bad.
Yeah.
So at the end of the book, Batman and Robin are coming towards Astrid and her.
Yeah, she's got a big
army.
plan. She's got Dr. Phosphorus doing stuff.
He's got a cool look.
Yeah.
Arcane as well. She's got Arcane doing stuff.
Yeah. There's some nice art in this. I really like. I love the way Walker draws Batman. The way he draws the shadows on the cowl and and the way the cape flows. I do think he's good for that stuff.
There was one weird panel with Batman early on. I thought I liked the more cartoony stuff when he's reacting to Damian later on. I didn't particularly care for the art in the flashback though, which unfortunately is like 80% of the book.
I don't have any problem with the art. I don't think it's a standout good. I think it suffers from the muted color palette because it's flashback, so we're going to do all this muted colors. I think it suffers from that. It doesn't pop in the same way that most of his art does. But I don't think it's bad.
I think I just didn't like the overall aesthetic of it, and it makes it Walker's weakest issue in terms of art in the book.
That's fair, yeah.
So, we'll see what next issue brings.
What's worse though about this is that because it's so inconsistent. I can't even go, oh, next issue is going to be terrible. Like, next issue could be fantastic.
This one could be easy to write off because it's the flashback issue, and once we get done with the flashback, it could be back to just being the quality it was. And if so, then fine. I'll read to the end of the arc. If I feel ultra disappointed by the end of the arc again, like I did the arc before 1000, then I'm definitely dropping it, because I don't even care if the start of the next arc is good again.
Yep.
Because at that point,
Yeah.
Tomasi's proven to me that he can't end the arcs properly.
Yeah.
He's good at teasing the setup at the start, but he's not necessarily good at actually hitting the landing.
I mean, this one, he wasn't even good at teasing the start with the Arkham Knight.
Well, okay, not in 1000, but he
Batman.
was the first proper
The
issue of it though
after-
was
yeah,
good.
okay, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, Mythology started off okay, and then it just got progressively worse.
I want to know if the third arc also begins with an M, because it's mythology. This is medieval.
Mecha Warrior.
I'd read
Menstruation.
Like,
Sure.
what?
that delayed reaction made that worth it. All right, what are you giving it, Car?
that. 3.
Yeah, I agree with the 3. 3 out of 10.